month of August is getting along well for you and for your business. As you know, in our business, we are always out there looking for ways to make a positive difference in people's lives. And for those of you maybe who are joining us for the first time or the first few times, my name is Betty Oloo, a long-time distributor in Neolife. My husband and I live in Pretoria, and we've been doing this business together for very many years. And it's always our pleasure to share what we have come to learn and know over the years. In our business, we are always learning, and what we are sharing with you is mostly what we've learned from other people who have helped us along our journey as distributors, and also what we have learned from our own experience. So I want to welcome you and to just let you know that if you have any questions, I will not be able to answer them during the session, but we always welcome questions. So you can send, if it's an urgent question, you can send it to my number, or you can leave it in the chat. And every month or 2 weeks, we usually have a Q&A session where we look at some of the questions that you have sent to us. So thank you very much and welcome to our training for this evening. As you might have seen from your invites, the topic today is gut health. And this is a hot topic in research and nutrition, because a lot is being found that was previously not well understood about how important the gut is in various aspects of our general bodily health. Because previously we mostly thought the gut was just for digesting food, but we are coming to understand that it has got many other functions and effects on our body. So without further ado, I just want to introduce the fact that the gut is the long tube that starts in our mouth and runs throughout the length of our body and comes out at the other end in the anus. And its main function is to digest the food we eat in order to produce the nutrients that we need. So you might remember that a week or two ago, we had the topic of metabolic health, where we were dealing with what happens to the nutrients once they are inside the cell and how our body can effectively use those nutrients. Today, we are moving further up the chain and speaking about the gut, which actually digests the food to release the nutrients which we use in our metabolism. Apart from digestion, the gut plays several important roles in our overall health, and that is why sometimes you hear the gut being called the second brain. And this is because it has been found that very many nerve tissues are found in the gut and the gut has a very close connection to the brain. So this means that the two influence each other. And probably you've heard of people speaking about a gut feeling, where you are able to have some intuitive knowledge because of something that you feel is coming from your gut area, but actually you are able to translate it into thoughts and ideas. So that is likely because there's a very close connection between our gut and our brain, with large amounts of nerve tissues joining the two organs. So the gut is divided into identifiable sections which perform various aspects of digesting different types of food groups. So, but in general, just to say that the gut contains many glands and cells that make and secrete digestive enzymes, digestive fluids, as well as hormones. All of these facilitate digestion. Some of the digestive juices actually are responsible for killing harmful germs that we might ingest together with our food, and so on. So let us look more closely at the functions of the gut. They include efficiently breaking down the food by chewing. So that happens in our mouth. The main things that do that, the main instrument for chewing, of course, is our teeth. And this is an important part of the digestive process because it breaks the food into small pieces, which can then be swallowed. And from there, the muscles of the gut move the food down the tube in a process that is called peristalsis, if you remember from your high school biology. So chewing food well is important, is an important aspect of digestion, and we should try to make a habit of chewing our food thoroughly. It mixes with saliva, and the digestive process begins at that juncture and continues further down the tube. The gut also is responsible for producing the correct enzymes and digestive fluids which respond to the food intake. So as soon as we start taking in the food, we don't have to do anything consciously. Our gut is able to respond to the food and produce the right enzymes, the right digestive fluids, and the right hormones as the food moves along. The gut also is important because it contains and grows and supports the life of a large population of friendly gut microbes. I'm sure you've often heard of me or other people speaking about the gut microbes, which are important in assisting us in digestion, as well as in our immunity and in our mental health. So these are bacteria, fungi, and other such microbes which we have evolved to live with in what is called a symbiotic relationship. That is, we give them a happy home to live in inside our large intestine mainly, and they help us in various ways, such as digesting foods that we cannot digest. They also help in boosting our immunity and improving our moods and mental health. Then another function of the gut is that 70% of the body's immune cells that fight off harmful bacteria and viruses as well as fungi are actually contained in the gut. So 70% of the cells of our immune system actually are in our gut. Because also remember that our gut is actually a tube that is connected directly to our external environment, because it just goes through our mouth and out the other end. So it's as if the external environment actually is trapped inside our bodies within the gut. And that means that it's vulnerable to entry by different types of organisms, microbes, which might not all be friendly to us. Some are friendly, some are disease-causing. And so that is why it is important that the immune cells are present in the gut so that they can be on site to fight any harmful microbes that might have entered or might be proliferating in our gut. As I mentioned before, another function of the gut is to have a direct communication with the brain. And in this way, it will influence our mood. It will influence things like stress. It will influence mental clarity. It will influence, of course, the provision of energy for the brain to work. In terms of mental clarity, you might have maybe observed even in your own self, because I've observed it in myself, when we are very hungry or when we are very full, our mental clarity might be reduced. So maybe if we have eaten a large, rich meal, we may find that we are drowsy and not really able to be alert. But also if our energy is low, we may also have a difficulty in focusing. And that is just an example of the direct communication between our gut and our brains. Then let us turn our attention now to some of the signs of poor gut health. How can we tell that our gut is not okay? So there'll be a number of pointers. Some of them are chronic, and I will mention a few of them, definitely not all of them, but these few might be a good starting point for you to get further information. So one such sign is having gut issues such as constipation, diarrhea, or bloating. Bloating is when the abdomen feels swollen and tight, as if it is full of gas, and it indeed might be full of gas. These three symptoms, constipation, diarrhea, and bloating, are issues that will tell you that all is not well with the gut. It might be a small problem that will pass, or it might become chronic. So, for example, something like constipation may come and pass on, and then we are able to pass stools, or it might become a chronic problem. The same with diarrhea and also with bloating. So in your life, we have products that help with these issues. We can recommend for such gut issues fiber tablets, which have various uses for us. They are the favorite food of the friendly gut microbes that help us. They also are important in helping with peristalsis, that is a movement of food along the guts. In addition to fiber and also they help in improving sugar metabolism so that we do not end up with prediabetes. So it's one of the protective ways or the preemptive ways in which we can ensure that our sugar metabolism does not become problematic. We can also recommend Aloe Vera Plus, which is a drink from Neolife, very excellent, made with a number of herbs that have been found to be supportive of settling and calming down the gut, and also dealing with things like nausea, as well as other types of discomfort, such as bloating and so on. And if you have got minor constipation, Aloe Vera Plus will also help if it's not very serious. Then we have stage 6, which is the big one for helping with constipation. If a constipation is becoming a chronic problem or a regular problem, then I think that we would recommend then stage 6, which is made of herbs that help to moisten the stools and also stimulate the muscles of the gut to remove the stools. Then another sign of gut problem that will alert us that our gut is not doing very well are the more chronic problems such as hemorrhoids, ulcers, colitis, and GERD. So hemorrhoids will come from chronic constipation that has not been attended to. So eventually, as a result of straining to try to pass the stools, then we may find that parts of the gut tissue starts popping out of the anus, and this can become quite a serious problem that may need surgical intervention. So rather than wait until we reach the point of the constipation reaches the point of hemorrhoids, it would be a better thing to start preemptive actions such as fiber tablets and stage 6, and also to check if our dietary choices are contributing to the constipation. Constipation can be due to various things. It can be due to medications that we take. It can be due to lack of exercise if we are sedentary and don't move much. And it can also be due to a lot of eating junk food mostly and not drinking enough water and so on. So then I mentioned the chronic problems. Ulcers can be another chronic problem of the gut. So here is when the wall of our gut actually starts having wounds on it, and these wounds can become bigger and bigger and can actually be life-threatening. So then colitis is another problem where there is inflammation of the gut, and then we also have GERD, which is when we have acid reflux, and all these chronic problems can be due to our dietary choices that might not be healthy. They can also be due to certain medications, and also a few of them, like the colitis, can be due to autoimmune illnesses. Then ulcers are sometimes caused by bacteria. So depending on what the underlying problem is, you may need to see your doctor in order to find out what is bringing about this chronic problem. Because if a problem becomes chronic, it is good to try and find out the underlying cause. But on the whole, what we can recommend for these types of problems will, of course, be stage 6 for hemorrhoids, as well as Aloe Vera Plus and fiber tablets once again. And then, of course, as I said, if the hemorrhoids have become quite bad, they may need to be surgically removed and treated. Then ulcers, we may need to visit the doctor to get some antibiotics. And also, with that, we can recommend chelated zinc, which helps with wound healing, Aloe Vera Plus to soothe the gut, and Calmag as well. So those we can recommend for those chronic problems. And then some autoimmune diseases can also be a sign that our gut is not okay. For example, psoriasis is an example of this. And as I said, some forms of colitis are also as a result of autoimmune illnesses. And here we'll normally recommend something like Acidophilus Plus, which I know may not be in your market. But as I said, you can help by increasing your dietary fiber as well as fiber supplements such as fiber tablets and the mixed fiber blend. This will help to increase the friendly microbes in your gut. And when they do that, they'll help the immune system to deal better and stop overreacting, because you'll recall, maybe those who have been with us for a while, that autoimmune illnesses are often related to problems where our gut is permeable, and then food which is not properly digested might find its way into our tissues and cause the immune system to become distressed and overreactive. So an overreactive So the indication that things are not okay with our gut is some inflammatory skin problems, such as eczema. So because if you think about it, our guts and our external skin, the skin on our body, are actually continuous with each other. So as you can see on your face, you have your facial skin, and then it goes to your mouth, and it continues into your mouth and into your gut. So things that are affecting the gut can quite likely affect the skin on the surface of our body. And for example, eczema is an indication that things are not okay can be an indication that things are not okay in the gut. Of course, it can also be things that are happening on the surface skin itself, but it can also be as a result of gut problems. So, but it is an indicator. We can try whether our eczema is a result of external things or things which are going on in our gut. And for that, we would normally recommend omega-3 salmon oil, which helps a lot with the inflammatory problems to settle the inflammation. We also recommend vitamin A plus D and chelated zinc. In addition to that, also, it's recommended that we try to eliminate junk food and problem foods from our diet. And this can help with eczema, because by eliminating some of these things, we can be able to identify what is triggering the inflammation or the eczema. And then we would be able to remove it from our food choices. And that would help to settle that problem together with the supplements that I mentioned. Then another indicator that things are not okay in our gut is the craving for sugary foods. So this might be an indication that either we have got a lot of disease-causing microbes in our system, because the disease-causing microbes actually like sugar. And if their numbers increase more than the healthy ones, the ones that support our health, then they are going to start making us to crave what they like, which is a sugary food. So if you notice that you or your child or people that are in your circle of influence tend to crave sugary foods and want to eat sugary things or sugary drinks, then it could be an indication that things are not okay with the gut microbes, or that it can also indicate that there is prediabetes beginning to develop. And so for that, we normally recommend that you deal with it using botanical balance, Tree and N, and if you have it in your market, Acidophilus. If not, then one of the fiber supplements, also to help to support your good microbes by giving them their favorite food, which is the fiber. The fiber can be as a supplement, or you can also obtain it from foods such as leafy greens and vegetables, legumes, and so on. Then another indicator will be if a person has an intolerance to a wide range of foods. If almost everything you eat causes diarrhea or constipation or bloating, so everything you eat is problematic, then it's another indicator that there could be problems in the gut. It could be that there is a deficiency of the enzymes. Your body is not producing enough of the enzymes that are needed to digest the food properly, so that you end up with bloating or diarrhea. or it could be that your body is not able to process some of the chemicals that you're taking in with your food, for example, food additives. And this can be why the food you eat is causing problems. Or it can also be that, as I said before, your gut microbes, the good gut microbes might be too few, and you're having a lot of the bad ones, and they are the ones driving these problems. So sometimes we hear people speaking about food allergies, and sometimes we hear them speaking about food intolerances. So when we speak about food allergies, it's when the immune system is actually involved, but the origin of the problem is the food in the gut. So the food in the gut causes an allergic reaction in the immune system. But intolerances is when we take in a food and something in it does not agree with us, and it causes us to have a reaction like diarrhea or eczema and so on. So that would just be an intolerance. So in whichever case, whether it's an intolerance or an allergy, it is important to try and identify and avoid the trigger foods. Sometimes if you avoid the trigger foods for a while, a period maybe of 1 to 3 months, then the problem will sort itself out and you can reintroduce the problem food without any problems. However, with some people, this may not be the case, and you might have to avoid that food altogether if it is always causing problems when you reintroduce it into your diet. Then for these intolerances and allergies, we recommend again Acidophilus plus to rectify the population of the gut bacteria. So we have got the friendly ones. We also recommend flavonoid complex to help with reducing the reactions, and also TRNN. Then I think I'll mention one last of this is frequent bouts of anxiety and depression can have many causes, but one of them can be due to certain nutrient deficiencies. The most common deficiency is vitamin B complex, and this occurs quite often in people who are vegans or vegetarians. So if one has these types of mood problems, such as anxiety and depression, it might be a good idea to supplement with vitamin B complex, vitamin D, and also with aloe vera plus to help with settling the anxiety and depression and helping the person to relax. Then bad breath, when we have bad breath, even though we have got good dental hygiene, because bad breath can be due to poor dental hygiene, that we don't brush our teeth properly and regularly, or it can be that it can also be a sign that bad bacteria are increasing in our gut. And so bad breath, if it's not a matter of dental hygiene, then we can rectify it by improving our diets and then supplementing with fiber supplements or Acidophilus plus if you have it. Chronic fatigue can be another sign that all is not well in the gut. So chronic fatigue can lead to sleep problems, because when we are very fatigued, we may fall asleep during the day, and falling asleep during the day may interfere with good sleep during the night. And so this can be an indicator from various points, but one of the things could be a problem originating from the gut. It can also be from elsewhere, like stress and so on. But here we can supplement with vitamin B complex, which will help in energy production, as well as the other things that I said. We also would recommend for this magnesium, which helps us to relax and improve sleep, and aloe vera plus also, which helps in relaxation and settling the gut. Then how can we improve our gut health? So those are some of the indications that all is not well in our gut. So now let us turn our attention to how to improve our gut health. So we should try to eat a wide variety of natural foods so that they can help to build up good gut microbes, as well as efficient digestion. Then in addition to that, we eliminate sugar and junk food as far as possible and reduce the intake of factory fats because they feed the unfriendly bacteria that usually are in our system. But if we have the good bacteria, they tend to keep the population of bad bacteria down. That is why this balance is always important. Then we should prioritize enough rest and sleep, and also to resolve the stressors in our life. Then we can also increase the intake of healthy fats. For example, the olive oils and the coconut oil and avocado, these nuts. These are all sources of healthy fats that are more supportive of good health. Another thing that sometimes we might not be aware of is that artificial sweeteners are not good with everybody. Some people have problems with them. And for some people, it can also reduce the population of the friendly microbes that support our gut health. So rather than opt for artificial sweeteners, it is better to simply, with time, work out of the habit of being very involved in sweet things. We can train our palate to be less craving of, and that is a better solution than to take these chemicals, which are, we react to them in different ways. Some of us may struggle, and some people may not have any problem, but you never know how your body is going to react. Then for general gut health, we recommend fiber tablets. So if you just want to take some supplements to ensure that your gut is healthy, or because you have noticed some problems starting, then the supplements that we recommend for that will be fiber tablets, acidophilus plus, chelated zinc, and omega-3 salmon oil. So these are general ones. If you are starting to have problems, you can also add vitamin C, which helps in vitamin C or flavonoid complex, one of the two, will actually help with healing some of the minor issues that might be starting in your gut. I see that the time is almost up, but I think that we have tackled most of the questions that were related to this, because we have spoken about constipation, where we said we would recommend stage 6, fiber tablets and aloe vera plus, drinking plenty of water, and eating minimally processed foods and eliminating excessively processed sugary junk food. Then we also mentioned ulcers and I think eczema. So I think that I'm going to leave you at this juncture, because I have already shared what I had for today's topic. And as I said, you can send